Hi, I'm Karen Palacios-Jansen. Welcome to Cardio Golf. I've been teaching golf and fitness for over 30 years. I'm an LPGA Master Teaching Professional, a certified personal trainer. And my mission is simple. I try to help people move better so they can swing better. On this show, we'll talk about all things related to golf, including golf instruction, golf fitness workouts. We'll help you with your mobility, strength, anything to do to help you move better so that you can swing better. I'll show you all of the equipment that I use to teach golf. We'll talk about swing drills. We'll talk about how to play, practice, things that happen on and off the golf course that affect how you play. I want to make sure that you enjoy the game and play longer. So, welcome to Cardio Golf. I hope you enjoy the show.
Welcome to the CardioGolf Show.
So, let's talk about warming up before you go play or practice. I carry this power swing trainer in my golf bag, and this is a great tool to have to help you do a quick little warm up routine. So, I hold the handles like this, it has some resistance, and then I start out with doing some shoulder rotators, inhaling and exhaling. I start with the upper body first, just to get those arms, shoulders stretched out. Then I might go into a cross crawl. I hold the handles like this and then just warming up both sides of the brain. If you've ever done cardio golf, this is one of the warm up exercises that I do. So you might not want to do this on the driving range. You can do this at home if you don't have far away to drive, or you can do it in the locker room. But this isn't any more embarrassing than topping your first drive on the first tee while people are watching. Then I might do some side flexion. This tubing helps really stretch out. And I have all these workouts on my Cardio Golf Online Studio if you want to go into a deeper dive of a warm up. Then I'm stepping on it, and this has a grip. So now I'm going to stretch out my backswing. So I'm mimicking the motion that I am going to do for the day. So a lot of the times, some warm up exercises don't really look like the golf swing, and that's fine to warm up your body. But you want to practice doing some of the movements that you're going to be doing in the day. And this rotation and the stretch of your arms is something that you're going to be doing. Then I'll put it on my other foot and I might do a few single arm swings just to get really stretched out. This is a dynamic workout while you are trying to get a little bit of blood flowing. So that gets my heart rate up, that gets a little bit of a stretch, and also you're working on your strength if you did this every day. So it's called the Power Swing Trainer. I keep it in my golf bag. Right. I wear a glove when I play and also when I practice. And the glove is really important. You can see I keep my gloves here in this little clear plastic bag. One quick note about golf gloves: you can extend the life of your golf glove by washing them. You put them in a little mesh bag, you throw them into the washing machine, they come out um, all wet, and then when they dry, they're hard, and then you can just soften them up, and it takes out the grime and dirt, so you can extend the life of your golf gloves. Now, if you have a hole in it, that's not going to work. That's a whole other issue that we'll talk about, but you can wash your golf clubs. When I warm up before I go play or practice, I play and practice a lot. I actually start with some lower irons, and I also alternate the clubs that I practice with. Because I'm playing and practicing a lot, I don't want to wear the grooves out. So today I'm going to warm up with all the even clubs. So I'll start with the gap wedge, and after I get my glove on, I might just do a few little half swings just to kind of get ready for what I'm going to be doing. And then I pick a target. So obviously, we're not on the driving range right now, but what I can do is I can put a target out here of about 50, let's see, 50 yards. And I'll start out by hitting two or three 50-yard shots. So this is when I'm practicing how far back and through I need to swing for that 50-yard shot. So this little ball needs to be in that sweet spot so we can see how far this goes. And now I'm going to hit a few 50-yarders. So that one went 53 yards. It wasn't super solid. That was my first swing. of this session. So I'm going to do a couple more practice swings. And when I hit left, it means that I stopped my body and my hands took over. So I'm going to practice my little weight shift, make sure I don't do that again. All right, so this is my 50 yarder. You can see I'm trying to figure out how far back and through for 50 yards. Where I see people go wrong is that they try to make the same swing and then slow down depending on the yardage. You don't want to do that. So this is my 50 yarder. I'll even say in my mind, this is 50 yards, so I try to replicate what I was just practicing. Good. I hit that more solid, and I hit that a little bit more than the 50 yards. So this is the warm-up range. I'm not trying to hit perfect shots. I'm just trying to replicate what I will be doing on the golf course. And on the golf course, I need to hit a certain distance shot. So I'm practicing that 50 yarder. So I'm going to dial back a little bit and see if I can get a good shot before I move on. That was better. Good. Still a little bit long, but I'm happy with that. All right. So now I'm going to move up to the 8 iron. Like I said, I'm going to practice with the even clubs. And what I do when I go practice is I check out the scorecard. I play a lot at my course. And I know that one of the par threes that I'm going to be hitting is an 8 iron shot, about 145. So I'm going to practice the irons of the irons of the holes that I'm going to be having to hit those shots with. So I'm going to change this distance out here and have a target. You always want to have a target. Let me change that up there. All right, so now I have my target. Um, and sometimes I put alignment sticks down, sometimes I don't, but I always try to stand behind the ball and pick my target, pick my intermediate target. You can see these little balls right here are a good intermediate target of where I want the ball to fly over. And then I'm going to visualize my shot. And then I'm just trying to make a good swing. So right now, I'm not really working on technique. This is a warm up. I'm just trying to loosen my muscles up. I'm trying to practice what I'm going to be doing on the course. So lining up is one of those things that I'm going to be practicing. So I'll do a few more with my 8 iron. Good. Then after I hit a few 8 irons, this warm up session is also going to depend on how much time that you have. You don't have a lot of time, you're going to accelerate this and probably go from pitching wedge right up to driver. I don't recommend that, but that's what people do. All right, so now I'm going to change my target again. Now that I have a longer club, I might practice a swing drill or work on my technique a little bit, pick my target line. And the reason I'm moving the ball is the ball has to be in this little sweet spot in order for us to see where it goes. So, and then I'll hit a few 6 irons. So, just to save some time, I'm going to accelerate this even more. And my longest iron is a 5 iron, and then I go into my fairway wood. So instead of going to a 4 iron, I'm going to go to my 4 hybrid. And then again, I'm going to have to change the target. And the reason that I want to change the target is because I want to make sure that I'm hitting the distances that I should be hitting with this club. If I'm not, then I'm going to have to adjust my yardage on the golf course. So now I'm going to go ahead and hit a few of these fairway woods. This is my 4 hybrid. And I'm very conscious of where the ball is going. I'm looking for a few things. I'm looking for the start line because that'll tell me what the club face is doing at the moment of impact. I'm looking at the yardage, obviously, and also the direction the ball lands in. That tells me what's happening in my golf swing. That one wasn't super solid. I'm talking, so maybe I'm not focusing that much, but this one I'm going to focus a little bit more and try to make a little bit better swing. Again, I'm just toggling it so that it's in that little sweet spot. And you could even hear the you can even hear the sound that sounded a little bit better. And I hit that a little bit better because I concentrated. All right. So then what I might do is just jump to the driver and hit a few drivers before I go play. I like to hit driver. Sometimes people don't hit drivers, but I like that to be the last club that I hit before I go play because that's usually the first club that you're going to hit when you go onto the golf course. Okay, so I'm going to change the target so that I don't hit the ball into the trees. Since I switch clubs, I'll take a few practice swings, things that I'm working on my golf swing. I'm trying to make sure that I complete my backswing. Sometimes I get a little short and then I use my lower body too much. So I'm trying to make a little bit longer backswing. Picture my fairway. And, when you're on the warm up range, that would be a good time for you to visualize some of the holes. If you play the same course a lot, picture the first tee and try to imagine that first tee shot so that when you get out on the first tee, it feels familiar and you're ready to go. I'll hit two or three drives, depending on how much time I have. If I hit a good one, then I'll pick up and I'll go right to the putting green and hit a few putts before I go play or practice. But that's a good little warm up routine for you to do before you go play, just to help warm up those muscles, get you ready to go on the golf course. And it's not too taxing, you won't get too tired. I started teaching golf in the 1990s, and it happened to be the same era as when the Golf Channel started. So I used to get to do a lot of tips on the Golf Channel. Take a look at this. This is one of the tips that I did a few years back on how to hit high and low shots. We're in a sticky situation here. The pin is very close to the edge of the green and we have to hit a low shot into the green. So let me just explain to you how to hit this shot. There are a couple things that you do different than you would with your regular swing. As you set up, you actually want to set up with most of your weight on your left side and you want to play the ball a little bit further back in your stance. That way you'll be hitting down. When you grip the club, go ahead and choke down on the club. And then set your hands forward. That's going to de-loft the club. I'm actually using a lower lofted club here, and I'm de-lofting the club. From this position here, keep your weight on your left side and hit down and finish low so the ball will go low under the tree. And hopefully it will roll up there so you have a putt to save your par. Now we're in the exact opposite situation. Now we need to get the ball up over the tree and onto the green. So you actually set up opposite than the shot under the tree. The ball position actually goes more forward in your stance, and you have a little bit of weight forward on your left side, but you actually tilt your upper body backwards, and your hands appear to be behind the ball, not in front of the ball. That adds loft to this swing. Now from here, as you swing back, make sure you take a nice wide takeaway and then follow through and finish high to get the ball up in the air. And that should help you get the ball up over the trees. So a lot has changed since that time, but the technique to hit a high and low shot hasn't changed. So this is the CardioGolf Fit Wedge. This is the shorty club. This wedge I designed to help people rehearse and practice those uphill and downhill lies, side hill lies that you get on the golf course, but there's nowhere ever to practice. So you can put your foot at different levels, and now you can do this at home, or you can do this at an indoor simulator, or you can even take it to the driving range and practice hitting balls with different lies. There's nowhere to ever practice those. So I also use this in my fitness class for some balance and stability. Balance is really important in the golf swing. If you want to swing faster, you need to have good balance, because if you don't have good balance, your body actually slows down so that you don't lose your balance. So, a great way to practice is with these fit wedges. And I'm going to start with my left leg first and just put my foot on the wedge. And now my foot's at an angle. And now I'm going to practice doing some balance exercise with my foot on an angle. So, this is more challenging than just doing it on the flat surface. So, this is a great thing to do every once in a while to work on your stability, work on your balance. And the better your balance, the faster you're going to be able to swing. So I'll do one side for a few repetitions and then turn it around. And now I'll put my other foot on it. And think about it, in nature, you're never walking on a completely flat lie. So you want to exercise on different lies like that so that your ankle stabilizes and that helps your core work even a little bit more. So practice a few single leg balance exercises like this. It's hard to talk and do this at the same time. It's even more challenging if you close your eyes. So you want to do a few minutes of balance exercises every day. The other thing that you can do with this, like I said, is wedge your foot up. And now we've created an uphill lie. So you can set up and you can feel how you have a little bit more weight on your back foot. Where people go wrong is they set up like this, and now they're going to be chopping into the hill. So set up so that you're angled. And now you can feel how your weight goes back. So here's the uphill lie. You can rehearse that uphill lie. You can even practice swinging through completely. You can see, because your foot's on an uphill lie, that's you have to work a little bit harder on trying to shift that weight. Then you can turn it around and do the downhill lie. Think about it. You want to angle yourself to the downhill lie, and now you can feel how your weight kind of stays on that front side and then goes more towards the target, which is what you want to do. Where people go wrong on these downhill lies is they try to help the ball up in the air, and that's the exact opposite of what you want to do. So if you have the little shorty club, it's short so you can swing inside, and your fit wedge, you can rehearse these different lies that you have on the golf course, but there is nowhere ever to practice them, and you can get good at balance. Thanks for joining me today on the Cardio Golf Show. I'll see you next time.